wonder. I mean, after this song, I never heard of this man, and I was reading about him. He said he didn't make much music, much money from the music. He's still doing other things, based in Germany, doing other things. But this was a big song produced by the great Zap Mallet, you know, the power of the music, and then under the Slip Records music label, owned back then by Mr. Mark Okreku-Mante, who is now Deputy Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture. Just listening to the sounds. So I found out this morning that, okay, I know koklo in Ewe is chicken. Koklo in Ga is 0. And tokro in Chi is a hole. You know, so 0. The koklo bit I don't understand. But the tokro and the koklo are almost close together, you know. And talking of koklo, these are the numbers. These are our numbers that you can reach us in Ga. First, in English, it's 055 556 1034. 055 556 1034. Yesterday I had Dagbanli. Today is Ga. So 055 556 1034. In Ga is koklo enumo. Ekpa, ekome, koklo, ete, edre. Again. Koklo enumo. Ekpa, ekome, koklo, ete, edre. 055 556 1034. Those are our numbers to get through to us. This is GTV Breakfast. Got some surprises on the way. There's a conversation on marriage, divorce, and settlement. Has nothing to do with Ashraf Hakimi, all right? But everything to do with marriage, money, and matters arising when the marriage has been dissolved. What are the issues? And luckily, I have some lawyers here who can tell us a little bit about what they know about this, and then we'll have the big conversation at 8:30. And we also have with us on the show today the wonderful gospel musician. I always get the order wrong. It's PSA Esther, and she's going to be here with Valerie in the last half hour of today's show. But my guests are seated. Both of them are lawyers. One is also an accountant, a corporate governance guru. His name is Dr. Eric Odron Osai, who celebrated his birthday, I think, over the weekend. On Saturday. Yes. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes, belated.
God bless you.
God bless
Yeah, it's
you.
a whole year, so you're celebrating.
It is.
Yeah. You look 35.
But I'm more than 50.
Oh wow! Didn't know that. You look well.
Nice.
What's the secret?
Well, you just have to train, and then you just have to be disciplined. That's
Train and be disciplined. And celebrations to all of you. Happy birthday to all of you who are celebrating your birthday in this month of April. And you see the next to him is Yao. I'm not sure if Pong. This month is not your birthday month, is it?
No.
When is your birthday month?
June
What day?
11th.
June 11th. Okay,
11
nice.
June.
Fantastic. He also looks like he's 35 or 40.
But
Yeah.
I'm an old man.
But with fresh ideas for all of us. I'm going to start with what's on your mind, gentlemen, before we get into the papers. Dr. Eric Odron Osai, what's on your mind this morning?
Thank you very much, Kaf. What's on my mind, I really want to celebrate Professor S.N. Wood, an astute professor in public administration and ethics. A lot of people don't get celebrated that much. This man died at age 80, but anybody who has passed through the School of Administration, anybody who has had a stint with public service would have met Professor S.N. Wood. Ethical leadership, good corporate governance, anti-corruption practices. This man is one person who has built Ghana's public service on good ethical footing. And today, I want us to celebrate him. And all those who are alive must know that they will also be celebrated if they do the right things. And Prof did the right things, and that's how come today he's been celebrated. We should not forget about good people like Prof. And he left a legacy at the Public Services Commission. And his legacy is that make sure you do the right things and one day you'll be celebrated. And that's why today he's been celebrated. He went through to become a board member of the Bank of Ghana, Director of School of Administration, Chairman of the Public Services Commission before he went on retirement and died at age 80. So today I want us to remember Professor Samuel Nunu Wood, who did so well in positioning Ghana's public administration on a sound ethical footing.
I'm sure his friends and family will be so touched by the fact that you've remembered him.
And the school. I think that there's a monument there.
Yes, at the School of I knew it at the School of Admin when I was in the University of Ghana.
right.
Yeah. What else have we named after this man?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, we've got to keep the memory of good people very much alive. So yeah, Professor Wood, kudos. You've done your bit, and we remember you long after you're gone. May you rest in perfect peace. And talking of people who we need to remember, I have a strong feeling that Mr. Yaw Onotsi Frimpong is also going to delve back into history and bring forward
Sir Aku Korsah.
Sir Aku Korsah. Yes. Who was he, for those who don't know?
Sir Aku Korsah was Ghana's first African Chief Justice. The first African Chief Justice. He was appointed in 1956 as the first African Chief Justice. Now, when I was researching into the man's life, I came across something very important. In fact, he was born in 1894 at Salt Pond, and he died in 1967. Now you see that the high life icon, A.B. Crenshaw, hailed from Salt Pond, and then Ikem Ferguson from Salt Pond, Professor P.A.V. Ansah from Salt Pond, Sir Aku Korsah from Salt Pond. I also learned the UGCC founded at Salt Pond, and then the CPP at Salt Pond. So I believe very soon we should begin, to do the history of certain specific towns.
Other participants also spoke to GBC News. It was really great.
Keta, for instance, I believe you will get a basket load of celebrities who were born there. So I believe that the time should come that we should remember towns and then honor them. Even in Accra, there must be a Salt Pond Street or a Salt Pond something outside Salt Pond, for people to know what they have done. So that's the beginning. I would say that the man, as I've mentioned, the date, the year he was born, 1894, he attended the famous school in Fansepem, and then went on to Sierra Leone, Freetown, Sierra Leone, where he attended Fura Bay College, Durham University in the UK, and then University of London. He became a very famous lawyer at a very early age. And at the age of 33, in 1927, he was elected a member of the Colonial Parliament. The Colonial Parliament was the Legislative Council, and he held on the position for 3 consecutive elections. We are also told that in 1942, he and Sir Ofori-Atta became the first 2 members of the Executive Council. That was the Executive Council was like a ministerial appointment, and they were the first 2 Africans who held that position. Now, after this stint with politics, he joined the bench, and then, as I've said, he was just before independence. He was appointed the first African Chief Justice. On
this day in 1956.
That is it. So this day, I believe the judiciary should remember the man. Judiciary is most often than not very silent on so many things, and therefore some of us have to be a voice for the judiciary. He's a man to be remembered all the time. He was the first commissioner of the Boy Scouts, the first African commissioner of the Boy Scouts. And then also, well, it's not palatable mention, but people are scared when they hear Freemason. He was the first African head of the Freemasons in Ghana. That's another. Now, he had 3 very important stints with the first president, Kwame Nkrumah. All of them very important. The first, when Nkrumah set up the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences, Nkrumah described him as a very brilliant person who should be a member. And so the first 20 persons who were enrolled as members of the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences, this man was there. And Nkrumah described him, in fact, as an outstanding lawyer. Now, the second thing he had with Nkrumah was the Nkrumah marriage. I'm told today there's going to be a talk on.
Yes, marriage, divorce, and settlement.
Nkrumah had a woman called Fatia, Fatia Rex, who later became Fatia Nkrumah, from Egypt, to be married to him. Now, just before Fatia was brought to the country, the Chief Justice and the President, the then Prime Minister, met that if the woman enters the country, you know she has nowhere to sleep apart from your place. So there will be the record that the Prime Minister ever had a girlfriend or something like that before they got married, because the woman hasn't got any family here to go and stay there. So wherever she will pass the night, everybody will think it's at your place. So appropriately, the very day she enters the country, make sure you marry.
Warano.
Yes. So, yes. So when Fatia arrived in Accra, you know, from her hotel room, she was driven to the office of the Chief Justice Akukosa, where he met Nkrumah, and they met before they went to whether Osu Castle or Flagstaff House or wherever they went.
I wonder who performed the marriage.
It was the Chief Justice
himself.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he did it. So that's a very remarkable thing we should know. In fact, the two of them discussed it, that the moment the woman enters here and then stays anywhere, they would think that because she came because of you, you had something to do with her before the marriage, and it will not be a good example for anybody in the country. So make sure she marries you before she enters your house.
Wow.
And that was then done that very day. Now the next thing that happened between Nkrumah and Akukosa, which is a bit grim, and that is what makes Akukosa famous, was that Akukosa in 1963 became the first and to date the only Chief Justice in Ghana who was dismissed from office. And what happened was that in 1962, there was this Kulungugu bomb episode in which Nkrumah nearly lost his life. 5 persons were arraigned in a sedition trial. Now, the chairman or the president of the panel was the Chief Justice himself. Now, 3 of them happened to be very senior members of the CPP. The Foreign Affairs Minister, Mr. Dr. Akwaje, the General Secretary of the CPP, who was Adamafio, Tewia Adamafio, and Nkrumah's Executive Secretary, Kofi Krab, you know. And what happened was that after the bomb issue, they were discussing this among the party members. And somebody reported that one of these 3 men, all guns, asked, did he die in the Ga language? Did he die? And then the others responded, no, he didn't. And so those who heard it and reported to Nkrumah, you know, they felt that these 3 people masterminded the bombing, because if you are a party member and then your boss involved in such a thing, say, did he die? It means that that was your thinking. And the Chief Justice felt that such a statement would not be enough to put anybody to jail. It's not sufficient, no sufficient evidence to convict these 3 persons. And Nkrumah, some party members told Nkrumah that the Chief Justice should be one of those people. That's why he set them free. Nkrumah got so furious and then sacked the man unconstitutional. In fact, his legal advisor, Sir Geoffrey Bain, you know, told him that to dismiss a Chief Justice, it would have been better even to kill him, because it's completely wrong, autocratic, unconstitutional, and completely condemnable. What Nkrumah did not know was that, as destiny would have it, if the 3 men had been set free, his government would not have been overthrown. Because as early as 1961, the external forces plotting the overthrow or the death of Nkrumah had identified certain men so close to him and who exerted much influence on him. And he listened to those people. First among them was his friend K.A. Bedema. They told him that he was flirting with the CIA to remove him from power. And so Nkrumah had to sack him from the government. It remained Akwaje, the one who recommended he should be brought to the country, and through whom he became the prime minister or the leader of the country. And people realized that these 3 people, the triumvirate, exerted so much influence on Nkrumah. Foreign Affairs Minister, your own executive secretary, and then general secretary of your party. So what Nkrumah did not know was that these people had been framed in order that as they knew him, he was a bit irascible. He easily got angry that these people would be sacked from the party, which indeed he did. And then incarcerated until 1966. After the overthrow of the government, they were all freed. And so it turned out that in 1966, is it 21st February, when he was traveling, and there was every mark on the wall, every writing on the wall that the government was going to be overthrown, and he himself had it. He rather looked up to Hale, the then IGP, and then Deku, the then Commissioner CID, that I leave the country into your hands, because they all knew something was going to happen. What Nkrumah did not know was that these two men were the architects of the coup d'etat from the police wing. And in fact, if Bedema had been there, if Tewia Adamafio had been there, if Kofi Krab had been there, and then the last one, Dr. Kwanje, if they had been there, it would have been a different story altogether. This is the life of that famous man, our Chief Justice.
And so he was in jail. He was, when they dismissed him.
But they dismissed him. Yeah. So Kwame Nkrumah didn't have serious party members, senior party members, to advise him, do not travel. But he had younger people who either feared him or were sycophants. And so when Dr. Alex Kwesi told him that whether they say coup or no coup, go, because African coups, as you know, Lumumba, Tafawa, Balewa, Olympio, you know, the coups take place in the country and they kill the man, so it is better for you to go. And then Kwesi added something, because he knew the ego of Nkrumah. You have already won the Lenin Peace Prize. The moment you go and come, having settled a world issue, you will qualify for the Nobel Peace Prize. So don't listen to your enemies. Indeed, Nkrumah didn't know that he was talking to an enemy.
So what happened to Akukosa at the end?
Akukosa, no, he was dismissed. So he died as a private person.
Okay.
But at least the history is behind him. It can never be whittled away.
At all.
Never. History cannot be obliterated in any manner. Okay. The first African Chief Justice. And then at that time, the Parliament, in 1927, he was the youngest person at the age of 33. Now somebody has broken his record. I'm told that Joa Safwa entered very young.
Very young, yeah.
And then one MP in Kumasi, Adonko Bete's daughter. Very good, yeah.
Yes,
the record you carry. Then the first African Commissioner of Boy Scouts, you know, the first African Chief Justice, the first African head of the Freemasons in this country,
yes.
and the pioneer member of the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences.
And the one who married
that one, indelible. The one who married the first the Prime Minister.
All right, wife. That's the story of Sir Akukosa, who on this day 67 years ago was the first African Chief Justice of this beautiful country. You're watching GTV Breakfast. It's 7:38. Let's inspire you right now, shall we? So yesterday during the social media corner with Valerie, we had this clip of a boxer who demolished his opponent, and at the end of the interview, at the end of the fight, he gave this very inspirational, emotional interview. He's known as Freezy McBones. What an interesting name. But his birth name is Seth Jima, and we're going to have Seth on the line right now. Freezy, good morning. Welcome. This is GTV Breakfast. How are you?
Good morning.
It's so great to have you on the line. How are you doing this morning?
Sorry, I can't hear you louder, please.
Can you hear me? Freezy, can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me? Hello, Freezy?
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but it's like echo. I can't hear you.
Okay, if you are wearing an earpiece, take it off so we can speak through the microphone. Is it better now? I'm almost screaming now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, maybe I got to put my earphone. I'm not sure because it's a bit
Yeah.
deep. I can't hear you well.
But
Can you give me a sec? Do you want me to put my earphone on? If you don't mind.
I don't know whether you can hear me now. Can you hear me now?
Hello?
Yes. Okay, so maybe take your earpiece out and then we can talk. All right, so we're just going to connect with Freezy McBones, Ghanaian boxer, who at the age of 33 delivered a serious knockout recently and has gone viral with the emotion and the passion with which he spoke. And it's a very inspirational story, has given people lots of things to learn about. That, hey, when you are hustling, nobody knows about you. And then when you get to the top, and you are making waves, then all of a sudden people want to know your story and you inspire people. So we're going to see whether we can connect again and get to hear him. But just to give you a little sense of who we are talking about. So he relocated from Ghana back in 2012 to the UK, did lots of work. 2012, yes, he got to the UK. So he's been 11 years in the UK, worked really day and night hard to get his shot. In boxing, you know, boxing normally you start at a very early age, you know, in your teens almost, and then you work your way out. So around your mid-20s, late 20s, you are at your prime. And at 33, he's gotten his shot, and all of a sudden people are talking about him. But we want to find out what the backstory is to his story, which has inspired a lot of people in the country and all around the world. Let's see whether we can reconnect with Freezy one more time. Hopefully the connection will not freeze. Freezy, can you hear me this time? This is Kafui on GTV Breakfast.
Yeah, I can hear you, but there is a lot of noise.
Okay, all right, let's go. So how are you doing this morning, and how do you feel days after your victory in the ring?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm still recovering from my fight. I'm cool. There is no injury, you know, and tomorrow I'm going back to camp again. I'm going to start.
All right. Give us your backstory. How did you get into boxing? Tell us from the beginning.
Sorry, say it again.
How did you get into boxing? How did you become a boxer?
Oh, that was a very interesting story because I started boxing very late at the age of 27, you know, and that was 2017. And a lot of criticism came up. You can't do it. You are too old. Look at these kids, you know, they are 9, 7, 8. That is how we start boxing. You know, at this age, you got to start into your hustler and keep doing what you're doing and leave the boxing alone. You know, but I never let them make their kind of comment and criticize, let me down. And I keep going. I had my amateur fight, 22nd knockout in my first amateur fight. Then during my amateur time, I got some sparring session. I knocked someone out, and 50 Cent posted the video. Mayweather posted the video, and it went viral all around the world. And I got some interview from the Sky and the Sun, and that is where British Mike Tyson came up.
What were you doing before boxing? I mean, when did you get to the UK to start your life there? What were you doing before?
I was a cleaner. I was going to office from one another office to another office, and I was also a kitchen porter, washing dishes in a restaurant and stuff like that. And through kitchen porter, I become a chef, and I'm still a chef.
We're interested in your story from Ghana. I mean, where did everything begin for you in Ghana?
Sorry, say it again.
So how did your story begin in Ghana? Where did you grow up? What did you do? Where did you go to school? What were you doing in Ghana before you got to the UK?
Oh, thank you. I grew up in a small village in Asante region in Section East. That is Asokore, and that village called Bima. That is where I grew up, and I got 10 sisters. I'm only one boy of them, and I went to school in the same community in Asokore, the T.I. Ahmadiyya, and I went to Krobia Asante Technical Vocational Institute. That is Kadri. and I did BC, which is building and construction there. And I'm a kind of a guy. I work hard, so I take my BC to next level. I travel to big city, British Kumasi. So some of my sisters was living in Bremen. So sometime in the vacation time, I'll go there and I just chasing for masons to looking for job, like plastering, concrete, and this type of hard-working job. And yeah, that kind of sort of the job I was doing.
So you were a mason.
Sorry?
You were a mason. You did a lot of physical manual labor, correct?
I can't hear you well. Sorry.
You said you worked as a mason on construction sites. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, mason and construction. It was fun. It was funny story because I bought a shovel, the one to mix the concrete, and I used to sit the Nana KJC cement shop. So when the masons or when people are coming to buy cement, I just ask them, "Do you have someone who's going to mix your concrete for you?"
Wow.
It's not really. I said, all right, I can do the job. At that time, I was skinny, There's a look at you. I said, I can do the job. And when they gave me opportunity, I don't play around. I showed them that I can do the job. And the next time they called me, come in, we have another job. Do you want to come? I said, yeah, I'll come. So I always very active. And aside that, I went to Asante Achimagogo and I was doing loading boy. We went to timber in the forest and cutting some ticks, take wood and shipping them to India, European countries to make furniture. So I was one of the boys. We carry them and load them in the truck.
Wow, it's a very inspirational story. I mean, mason, a loading boy, working in the forest, cutting timber. What was pushing you? What was inspiring you to do what you had to do to get to where you are today? Who was your inspiration?
Thanks for this question. I would say it's my family because I know where I'm coming from. I know where I grew up, and I know my parents, my mom, my dad. Rest in peace to my dad. He passed away 2 years ago. And I know my sisters. And I mean, it was a tough time because I quite remember in school time when I was young, my parents don't have money for us to for like breakfast or for lunch or anything. So what they do does is that they go to farm early morning and they prepare and they get us a lot of cassava, plantain, avocado, mangoes in a basket, and they give it to us to go and sell them in the markets before we go to school. Or sometimes we give them to my mom's friends to sell them. And after school, after break, lunchtime, we come to ask her, Auntie, have you sold any plantain or cassava? We want some money to eat. And she said, no, nobody asked anything, so I can't give the money. I can't give you money. And we went back to school. And later, sometimes we can eat after. We can't eat until 3 p.m.
Wow.
Me and one of my sister Ruth. So we've been hustling. I've been going a lot. Even coming to this country, I've been sleeping rough in London, sleeping in the bars because I don't have any family here. Life was tough, but I never give up. So I see myself like a winner. I don't lose in life. What I've been through, it makes me strong. It makes me who I am right now. So I don't let myself down. And also, there is a lot of things which is pushing me, make me strong, who I am right now, and make me do what I'm doing right now. But the strong thing it pushed me is my family. I look up to them. I'm not. I mean, the place I grew up, Bima, there was no light when I was there. Now I see some pictures there. There's a light there. When I was there, there was no light. I grew up in candle light. I don't know how they call it.
Yeah, candle.
We went to some farm to get some water. River, we get water. There was no pipe, so as a young man like that, grow up in a kind of environment or community like and get opportunity to come here. I was like, why not? I can do this, and I gave myself time and I put all myself into this sport and I sacrificed for it and now I'm here.
Oh, we've got a wonderful story. I'm just curious though, when did you go from Seth Jima to Freezy McBones? I mean, what is the history behind your name? It's such a unique name.
Yeah, all right. Freezy McBones. You just in those times, free time when you complete your junior high school, they make a T-shirt and they put your name and your nickname in the back. So some of my my friends called like on my name Ampon, aka 50 Cent, Stephen Entry, aka Lord Bank, like some kind of funny, crazy nickname and stuff like that. So that is where I got mine. And I remember my teacher asked me, "What's the name? What's the meaning of Freezy?" And I said, "I don't know." I said, "Just put it." And that's my nickname because that time, as I grew up in the village, and these guys are in the city boys, So I don't have a nickname. So I just one of my friends helped me to get that, but I don't know how it happened, and I gave Freezy to them. And my cousin said, "You got strong bones. You got very strong bones because everything you do, you just like go for it. We giddy judo." That's why the bones comes out, and then it added like Big Mac bone. But right now, it turned into when I do interview, people ask me, "Why you call Freezy McBone?" I said, "Because I freeze people in the ring." And
that's it. You freeze them in the ring. Ain't easy being freezy. I hear that's one of the mantras, right? Ain't easy being freezy.
Hello?
You freeze people in the ring.
Yeah. I tell them I freeze people in the ring because I knock people out. That is why.
And talking of the knockout, just the last fight we saw you, what was going through your mind when you were knocking the freeze out of that guy in the ring? I mean, we saw you as somebody who was just angry and hungry. What was going through your mind when you were punching that guy?
Honestly, it was emotional. I never felt in that before. I never felt that before in my life. Because look at a little bit of my life I've been explained to you just a few short of time, right? A few minutes ago. So when I get opportunity, I enter the arena and I saw a lot of cameras, a lot of TV stations, a lot of people there. I was emotional. I think I was crying a lot, like almost 5 minutes non-stop. And my coach couldn't control me, couldn't help me. And anytime he asked me, "What's wrong with you?" This happened before the fight, he asked me, "What's wrong with you?" Anytime I try to explain myself and it's getting worse, So I said to him, "Nothing, I'm all right." So before the fight, I was already emotional. So when I get there, I was like, "This guy is better to be right. I'm gonna beat him like a thief." So when I get two gloves on, I get in, and he's one of the tough kids. He had 113 fight. No matter what, he would never go down. So I was like, "Okay, cool, we will see." Then I got the results, but I could not get the knockout. And he came up to me and he said, "You are one of the hardest punch I ever fought upon all my 113 fight." And I was like, "All right, that's cool. That's calm." But at the end of the day, yeah, I invited him to come to my changing room, and I got Plantation's business going on as well, which is Freezy Food. So we shared the snacks, and we yeah.
After you froze the guy, you gave him plantain chips.
Sorry?
Freezy. So after you beat the guy, you gave him plantain chips. Is that what you did?
Yeah. I invite him to come to my dressing room and we share some snacks. But that snacks come from my it's my product. It's a small business I just set up going on now.
Oh, I see you dressed as so you're a chef as well. You this is your business, right? The snacks business is your business. Is that correct?
Sorry?
I see a picture of you wearing a chef's uniform and holding your snacks. So is that your business?
Yeah. I'm a chef as well. Like I said, I was a kitchen porter.
All right.
And through kitchen porter, I become a sous chef,
Yeah.
and I have my small business going on, Freezy Plantain Chips, Freezy Food, that's the brand. But right now, I moved up to Freezy Jollof Rice. It's already cooked. All you got to do is just warming up in microwave and it's done. And that one is coming out soon, like next 2 weeks coming. So we're looking forward for the marketing process.
Where are you going to take the boxing now? Because you are a chef by day and a boxer by night. Are you going to continue boxing, or this is it?
Nana, I want it all. Because of where I'm coming from, I'm hungry. I want it all. I always want to have a time to make sure I will do all of it. First, boxing is so important. It needs time. I train 3 times a day. First, my session is yoga, hot yoga. After that, I do boxing pad session with my coach. And then I go back home and I take a rest and I go back to gym and I do strength and condition again. So it's not a joke. Boxing is serious. It needs my time. But I try to find the right people around me to make sure all is done. So sometimes I go to kitchen and I check everything is all right to make sure the process and everything is going all right.
Awesome. Freezy. So my friends who don't know much about boxing, but they think they know much about boxing, they are worried for you because they said in the fight, you didn't seem to protect yourself. I mean, it's like you just went after this guy and they're afraid that maybe somebody will catch you with a hook and then you are down. Explain your style. It reminds me a bit of Mike Tyson in his early days. You don't really care about defense, do you? It's all attack, Freezy?
I don't want you to repeat yourself again, but I will try to see if I can answer your question.
Yeah.
I did not hear you well. Anyway, I love Mike Tyson. I look up to him. He's the kind of guy he's been motivating me a lot because since I've become a boxer, I make up in my mind if it's not pickable, which is my Tyson style, I don't want to do this sport. So every day by day, I watch Mike. I like the way he moves and stuff like that. I see a lot of comments coming out after my fight. Oh, he needs to protect his hands. You need to do this. You need to do it. Every fight, you're gonna get criticized. You're gonna get comments. You're gonna get feedback. It's all good. But for this fight, you see, I was really determined to knock the guy out. And this is the guy. His style is not going there boxing like Mayweather, put your hand up and down. You need to go straight to him, aggressive. Don't give him time to rest. Looking forward to punch him and do whatever it will take you to win the fight. But my next fight is going to change. A lot of change is going to come. A lot of things going to come. It's a learning process, Every time, every opportunity, every step, you learn something new.
Yeah, and you've been in this game for only 6 years, so you are still learning. When is the next fight, Freezy? Who are you going to freeze next time?
When is the next fight?
Yes.
I think today is the 3 days after my fight. So at the end of this week, I'm going to have a meeting with my management and we see when is the next day, where, who, and whoever will come. I'm ready. I'm ready because this is my life now. I'm ready.
What has surprised you about boxing?
Come again?
What has been the biggest surprise for you about boxing as a professional boxer? What's the biggest surprise for you?
That was Anthony Joshua. Oh man, that was a great surprise. There was one time I was sleeping. I don't know where he get my number. He called me and I pick up. He called me in FaceTime. I pick up the call and said, "Who is that?" I said, "Oh my God!" It was so surprised. I was shocked. It was Anthony Joshua. And this year in the new year, he called me. He always check on me. Even my last fight, he texted me. He said, "Congratulations! I'm so proud of you, and you worked so hard. You deserve everything." But what he did to me, it shocked me. Was the early of this year. I think the first date of the year. He called me, asked me about my parents, my mom, my everything. I said, "Everyone is good." He said, "All right. How did you spend your Christmas?" I said, "It went well. It's all right." But the thing about me is that I live alone, so every Christmas my family is not here, so I just spend alone and that. And he thought about me in that. He said, "Send me your bank account." I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, I said, "Champ, don't do that." The next day, I did not send him my bank account. He called me and checked on me. Make sure you do. I said, "All right, cool." Send him my account, and guess what? He sent me 5K for just a gift. I said,
Wow.
ah. And look at Anthony Joshua, the position he is, a man like that, looking after you all the time in terms of financial, like he care about me, he care about not only me. So I was thinking, he just did this to me. Imagine how many people he be helping them out. The guy, he got good soul, he got good vibe. He's a good guy.
Are you surprised how people are so motivated and inspired by your story? Because it's all over in Ghana, and I'm sure it's all around the world as well. Your story is a great one.
Sorry?
Your story is a very inspirational one. Does it surprise you?
Kind of, but somehow not. Because I remember my dad always said to me, hard work don't kill you, it makes you strong and it brings successful to you, you know. And I've learned that if you want to be a successful, you need to work hard, you know. So it's not surprise me if I sleep in the bed and I wake up and I'm fighting Queensbury promotion, one of the best promotion in the world, or if I wake up and I sleep. Oh, sorry. If I sleep and I wake up and you interview me, that would be surprise, right? But I put in the work.
Yeah.
I used to run 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. You know, I used to do a night shift and I run in the day. It was crazy. My life was crazy. It's like something's pushing me through my hard work. You know, so I think I deserve it.
Yeah.
For every movement, everything is going on in my life. I deserve it. And it's not surprising at all. And I believe that this is just the beginning because this is my second fight. So there's a lot of pain coming, a lot of processes are coming.
All right. You're a tough guy. I mean, mean guy. You freeze the people in the ring. But when was the last time you cried, man? Do you have the soft side of you?
Yeah, I cried. I'm not going to lie to you. Sometimes I close my door and I cry. I do. I got a very, very soft heart. I'm a very kind person. I help a lot of people, but that one is a side life. Anyway, let's talk about myself. You know, I care about people. During the COVID time, I was giving back to the community, train people for free. I don't charge them because I want them to be active, but people were so bored at home. You know what I'm saying? I do my best to help everyone I can in my life. You know what I'm saying? But I cry a lot.
What's your message now?
Sorry?
What's your message now for young people who are going through tough times? Not even young people, just people who are going through tough times and it looks like there's no hope for them. What is your message for people this morning?
Hello.
Freezy, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we want to wrap this up shortly. I just wanted to know, what word do you have to give to somebody who is watching right now and needs a little bit of encouragement and inspiration? What can you tell them?
Oh, you mean the youth?
Yes, the youth.
What I would say is that where you grow up or where you was born or your background or your environment, it doesn't judge your life. It doesn't tell you who you're gonna be. Right? Look at me, a guy who grew up with a place there was low light, and now I'm here get interviewed with one of the national TV in Ghana, right? And it's crazy. I don't know. The kids need to wake up. The kids need to wake up. Life is you. It's all about you. If you want to be a better person, it's all about you. Your mom is not going to do it for you. When I was a kid, I thought my dad was rich. I thought my dad is going to stay, the life I'm living is going to stay like that forever. And my mom is going to give me what she can. My dad is going to give me what she can. But now, my dad is no more. Now I'm a man. I'm doing everything by myself. I don't depend on anyone. My dad is not there. I got 10 sisters, right? I got niece and cousin, a lot. We are a lot. Now I'm the man in the house. I'm the one I'm looking after the family and everyone, right? If I did not make this decision, Now my dad is not there. Who's going to look after the family? Everyone look after me. I look after my cousin in the university and here and there. It's all because of the right decision I make. So don't let yourself down. Make sure you do your best. Everything you do, make sure you do your best at 100%. But the most important thing is that the people around you is so important. If they are into drugs, if they are smoking, drinking, that means it tells you you are in the wrong position. Stay away from the people like that and stay focused, right? Keep praying. God listen to us, and there is a God. There is a way for you, and it's possible.
Freezy McBones, ain't easy being Freezy. Please go ahead and freeze all the opponents in front of you and all the barriers. It's been a real pleasure talking to you. And the screen froze. Freezy, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
It's a real pleasure. God bless. One love. So that's Freezy McBones, Seth Jima, from Mason and Loading Boy to boxer and entrepreneur helping people. Anthony Joshua calls him up and said, hey, what's up? Amazing story. Gentlemen.
Yes, it's great and very inspirational. I believe that his stuff can form part of your second book coming up for everybody to know that there is always a place to start. And when you start, keep going. Don't stop, keep going. In life, you begin, but you don't stop anywhere. When you fall, please just rise up. If you can imagine a young guy having the wisdom to buy a shovel, go and sit where they sell cement and ask people, please, do you need any helping hand?
That was smart.
And then eventually he becomes a celebrity. And as he stated, being interviewed by a national television station. It's a big landmark, and I know he will go greater places, and everybody should take inspiration from that.
Doc, what did you pick from this?
Hard work pays. Hard work pays. And the young ones will have to learn something from him because he's somebody who was determined to make it, and he's made it. A lot more people in Ghana have a story one way or the other, like what he's telling us today. So hard work pays. That's what I can say.
Hard work pays. That was Freezy McBones, aka Seth Jima. Find the interview on our GTV Ghana handle on Facebook. My name is Kafui Day. My guest, Dr. Eric Odrosai, who celebrated Professor Wood, S.N. Wood, right?
That's right.
What about the S.N. stood for?
Samuel Nunu Wood.
Wood. And then from one celebrant to another, Sir Aku Kosa, our first African Chief Justice, being celebrated by our resident historian slash lawyer, Yao Nochifrimpong. These are the headlines in the news. Apart from Freezy McBones, there's also other headlines. Ghanaian Times, securing $3 billion IMF support. President signs 3 tax bills to pave way for government to bag 4 billion cedis revenue annually. Size of government not a factor for increased expenditure, says Opon Nkrumah, the Minister for Information. Police probe burning to death of 3 suspected armed robbers at Asakragwa. They messed with some miners and met a really gruesome end. Electoral Commission to conduct Kumewu by-election on May 23, 2 days before AU Day. The finder, ECG loses 1 billion cedis to power theft annually. MD appeals to public to report perpetrators. They recovered 2.5 billion out of the 5.2 billion target that they made. They set themselves. Wonderful, almost 50%. IGP unveils 2 major election security interventions. They had a chat with the political parties recently. 3 institutions in Western region disconnected for owing ECG over 3.2 million cedis. And ECG disconnects Accra Digital Center, which is where your passport, my passport, and our passports are created. The anchor, homosexual cash hits anti-gay MP constituencies. What a headline. What a headline. Sam George, others re-election bid under siege. Christian Muslim communities silent. And then STC bus carrying SHS students involved in accident. Mercifully, there were no mortalities or fatalities, but there were injuries. Some people were in critical condition. There were 2 accidents of that nature on that same road yesterday. So these are the headlines in the papers today. what would you want to respond to? Any of those headlines caught your attention?
The STC one, because it's the safest means of road transport in Ghana, and I believe that as early as possible, a committee of inquiry should be set up, so that we will know exactly what transpired. Because when I saw the picture, I wasn't happy. It was just gory, and I'm sure every Ghanaian wants to know why, and especially on that day, on that road where many parents were conveying their wards to schools in the central region. Then I talk about the Kumawu by-election. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are giving their opinions that if an MP dies midway, whether or not it will be appropriate to let the party that sent him to parliament just elect one of his own members to go and replace him in order to save a lot of money. Because here you see that all the parties that will be interested in the Kumawu seat would be spending money to campaign. At the end of the day, you would realize that in about 99% of situations, it will be the very party whose man died that will win the election. So there's only a few occasions, just one in the north, where it turned out, I think, from NDC to a CPP man.
Maybe it was close before the guy
Yes.
won it on a very close
that was
victory. Yeah.
And apart from that, in almost all the situations, you will see that it's the party that lost the MP that would win.
And is Kumawu a safe seat for the MPP?
A safe seat for the MPP
It is a
already.
safe seat, yeah.
Some people are just thinking aloud that electoral commission should think about all these things. I will not say I'm supporting the idea, but it is not a bad idea. It's a very brilliant idea that when your man dies, then you replace him with another one. It's very, very simple. I'm not saying I'm supporting it. It's not a very bad idea. And then, Doctor, maybe you talk about the tax matters here.
Okay. I just want to give you an idea of what the vote was in 2020 for Kumawu. Okay. So, of course, the president got over 80% in the presidential poll. Mr. Mahama had 18.28%. That was the presidential. Now, with Parliament, the MPP had, you see, it's not that far. They had far less. They had 51%. 51.11% in Parliament. That's Mr. Baswa. And then Duakweku of the independent candidate had 39.96.
That's wonderful.
And then the NDC had 8.33. I am sure the independent was probably an MPP guy. Split up. Split up.
The independent guy was an MPP guy.
Because Baswa came in with 51.1. The late Baswa came with 51.11%. So the independent actually
splitted the vote.
Yeah, and the votes. So that's what it looks like.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's an NPP safe seat.
Yes, but the independent person is coming back again.
Yeah, he will. This is an opportunity for him.
Yeah,
so he like this will not take it kindly.
No, he won't subscribe to that.
He won't subscribe to what you were talking about. He said, no.
This can be his chance.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm wondering whether he's coming as an independent
or on the ticket of the NPP. That's
exactly.
That's what we are yet to know.
Exactly.
Yes. But before Doctor comes in, please, the ECG boss. In fact, the whole nation is talking about this man.
Yes.
That he's doing a brilliant job for the nation. I wish God will give him the strength, the power, health, everything he needs to be an exemplary figure for all of us. He is really working. And I know that other people too are working. They should come up and then let us build this country.
Indeed. 2.5 billion cedis extracted from the pockets and purses and accounts of defaulting companies. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. Doc, anything you want to talk about?
Yes, I want to talk about the ECG man, and I think he's doing well. 2.5 billion, like you said, is no joke. But what I think they should be doing more now is to go back to the office, and then, if possible, improve service quality. What becomes of the remaining debts? If they can sell it off to a private company to be chasing people for them and give them targets, because people are interested in paying, but they're also interested in service quality. So if you push all the men out there to go and chase people to pay, and the service quality doesn't improve, that's also another matter. But I give him thumbs up for the effort he's putting in. And I must say that the young ones, if they give us the opportunity, we should excel, and then we should make sure that we serve and serve well. And I think Lawyer Mahama is doing well. in that position. I also want to talk about the issue my colleague raised here, that if possible, they should allow the NPP to just nominate or choose somebody to replace the candidates who left us to eternity. I think the Constitution will not allow that.
No.
The Constitution will just not allow that. So we should allow the process to continue, except that I appeal to all the political parties in there to allow peace to prevail. It's very important. This is not a do or die affair. It's just a replacement of candidates by virtue of the constitutional provision in our laws. So they should allow us to have a very nice, cool, peaceful by-elections.
Nice, cool, and peaceful.
Nice, cool, and peaceful by-elections. So we can have our peace as a country. So these are the ones that I want to.
Let's talk tax, though. I know your money issues are not far from you. The president has signed into law these 3 tax bills.
That's right.
What does that mean for the business community? What does that mean for Ghanaians? Really?
Well, what it means for the business community is that government is going to, not for the business community, but for citizens of Ghana, you're going to pay more taxes. And as a business person, you may want to pass on these taxes to the people of Ghana. And once you pass on the taxes to the consumers, you are to collect them and then pay it to government. So, yes, to the business community, it means high cost of goods and services. To the average Ghanaian, you have to pay these taxes to government, collect the taxes, and use the taxes for development. So basically, that's what it means.
Guta are not excited by this development, or
they will not.
The Ghana Union of Traders.
Yeah, they will not be excited. They will not be excited. No businessman, most businessmen don't like paying tax, actually, because it will increase the cost of production. And once it increases the cost of production, patronage will be very low. That's the word I want to use. So they are not happy, but they should also be happy that government will get money to develop the country, because government will have to create the enabling environment for business to thrive. But where will government get the resources from? So
we've always been hearing this: widen the tax net, widen the.
After widening,
this when I was in University Economics, 1990.
Yes.
I had widen the tax net. Why isn't this tax net being widened?
You see, I think we shouldn't only widen the tax net, but widen and improve collection systems. You see, if there are 3 things: you widen the tax network so that everybody will come in there. Those who are supposed to pay taxes come in there, and then after that you improve collection processes, and then after that you connect tax mobilization to service delivery. If you get these 3 things running, then that's fine. It's not enough to widen the tax network. If you widen the tax network and you are not collecting, people are not paid. They want to pay, but the means of collection is not there. So I think that we should be concerned about that, but we should also be concerned about how government mobilizes the resources and how government uses the resources for the benefit of Ghanaians. That's what we should be concerned about.
Okay. This looks like some Galamsey-related story. So this is the burning to death of 3 suspected armed robbers at Wassa Memfi West Municipality of the Western Region. All young people. Ike, 24 years old. Abbas, 25 years old. Abeku, 26 years old. Allegedly killed following a robbery that occurred in the community. So the GNA reports that on Sunday, 5 armed men supposedly attacked a gold buying shop. And in the process, they shot and killed the attendant at the facility. So this angered the residents of Musiasu, who conducted investigations. Can you imagine? They almost became like CIDs. And it led to the identification, arrest, lynching, and setting ablaze of 3 robbers, while 2 others escaped. This mob justice thing is...
No, it's wrong.
It's crazy.
It's wrong. Yeah, it's wrong.
You could have handed them over to the police.
I mean, if it was a case of mistaken identity.
And it happens all the time.
Oh, just I think a couple of days ago in the States, this young 16-year-old black boy
Always black.
Who got the address of where he was going wrong, 115 whatever street. He got the address. He stood outside. He knocked on the door. The person inside the room, a white guy, shot him multiple times. Now the man is completely, So, wow. And if you see the bodies, it's gruesome. It's the charred. They burned the people alive.
It's very bad.
Too bad.
Yeah. All right. So those are some of the comments. Those are the issues here. We may be keeping an eye on 1 or 2 things, depending on how we connect with Jay. I'm going to read a couple of messages now for you. So the big stories have to do with ECG finding their money, but also losing money to power theft. Annually, 1 billion cedis is lost to power theft. It's like $100,000 every year. Lost to
$100,000.
Yeah, it's $1 billion cedis. Yes, $1 billion cedis. Just add 3 zeros. Yeah. All right. So, and STC bus carrying SHS students involved in an accident. Thank God that nobody perished, lost their lives. Our roads are really, really dangerous. When I hear of countries where there was one particular country in Northern Europe where only one person died the whole year from a road accident, and even that person, he didn't even knock. He went and hit some pole and somewhere and died. So no other people were. Just one person, and they were angry because they had a zero fatality target. So one was one too much. Okay, I'm going to scoot over to the board and read your messages. Hey, let me take my gun numbers again. For those of you who don't know how to say the numbers, our number is 055-556-1034. Koklo, my favorite word for today. Koklo is 0. Koklo, enumo. Ekpa, ekomi, koklo, eten, edre. Those are the numbers. 055-556-1034. My friend, why are you? Okay, good. Thank you very much. Messages coming in. Good morning, GTV. Breakfast. What's on your mind? That today is your birthday and we should remember you. Okay. Emmanuel Okwe. Okay. Happy birthday to you. You are born on the 67th anniversary of the coming into power of Sir Akukosa, who was the first African Chief Justice of Ghana. So, very auspicious day for you. The story of Freezy is very inspiring and a clarion call on the youth to strive for what we want and deserve. The system may not be favorable to us, and there's no guarantee it will get any better. So we have to go all out and ensure we are successful. We can do it. And you think our show is by far the most educative and informative morning show on TV. Big ups to all of us in the team. I agree with you 100%. Mickey Darling, regards to the fine gentleman. Please ask Dr. Odrosai from the office he's occupying now, what are the loopholes Ghana is losing so much money from, and what can be done as a remedy? The rampant increment of taxes and borrowing by government is killing us all. Michael Ashalaja. What are some of the loopholes where the money is escaping like
we have to
fire?
Strengthen internal audit.
Internal audit has to
internal
strengthen.
controls.
All right. We had a story on SHS yesterday. Yes, Ganasco. The documentary will be coming out soon. As for SHS now, dear, it tells something. My ward school asked we the parents to help them because their water wasn't flowing and the lights are off because the credit is finished. Now, most of these burdens are on the PTA to come to the aid of the school. In a serious country by now, education minister would have resigned over the grade schools placement scandal. Nana Kojo says our authorities should be ashamed of this and insist on doing the needful. They're asking the headmaster and senior hospitals to step aside for the probe. So this is the Ghana Senior High School, Ganasco, where there was a documentary by one Prince Kwame Tamaklo of Rainbow Radio, which showed that students were sleeping in converted bathrooms and toilets. Of course, the chairman of the Old Students Association and other authorities, Northern Regional Minister has denied it, says it's staged, but the man sticks by his story. We had a chat with him yesterday. If you missed it, go to our Facebook, you'll see it, all right? Cape Coast Road, the whole stretch needs an engineering audit. Aprease the road, too many accidents. The Cape Coast Road, none of it is dualized. Oh. That is one of the biggest mistakes, I think, in our life. That a highway is not dualized. Yeah. You know, a lot of the head-ons, you can't have a head-on collision on a dualized road. You can't. So yeah, the road to Salt Pond and all the great cities that are part of our history, they need to be done well. Ask the Ghanaian the UK Ghanaian what food he eats to be strong enough. The guy is a chef. Plantain chips day inside. Okay. All right. Okay, Lawyer Freeport, can you tell me the role senior old man Alhaji Senari, one-time chief imam of Ghana Army, played in the marriage of Dr. Nkrumah as the first president of Ghana?
He was the first Ghanaian to have studied in Egypt.
Alhaji Senari?
Yes, okay. And so Nkrumah passed the message on to him to look for a Christian lady from Egypt for him. So it was Alhaji Senari and the then president of Egypt, Senari, who came together and looked for that Coptic Christian. Fathia.
Well, Sergeant Ford liked working with people, link men, you know. So when they link me here, link me there. I guess that's a good leader. You don't do all the work.
No.
You get people to do the work for you,
right.
you know. Freezing my bones story is very inspirational. It places emphasis that hard work doesn't break bones. Congratulations to him. Champion. Wow. Nilate, still inspired by that story. Wow, humble man. How did Freezy get to London? Freezy Baby has really touched. It's a really touching story. There's a God indeed. God bless him and more wins, more titles for Ghana. All right. Paulus. When they call your name twice in Ghana, you have to issue money. Oh.
Definitely.
Lawyer.
Honorable.
Lawyer.
Doctor.
It means you have to decentralize some
You have to
resources.
settle. Lawyer. Anybody calls me calf, I know that they want something, man.
Definitely.
Kudos to all of you. Freezy is a hard worker. I just pray he learns from Hakimi. He should know he's doing all these things alone. All right. Because of where I'm coming from, I want it all. I'm hungry. See yourself as a winner. Never entertain a loser mentality. The hustle is surely going to pay someday. Bless up. You guys are inspired. So are we. So it's now been confirmed by the MD of ECG that John Mahama is personally paying for his bills since he left the office. Okay. Well, that's your story there. Thank you very much. There's some stories going on here about baby sales and things. I can't verify. I underestimated how mob justice can lead to the death of innocent people till I watched a movie, Dark October, based on a true story that happened in Nigeria some years ago. The Alu 4. 4 innocent students were lynched and burnt due to mistaken identity. These things happen most of the time and it's grossly uncalled for. Mob justice, not the best. ECG, Asaman Kesi, they say you're always bringing monthly bills to customers beyond their monthly salary. How much power are you using? Or is there a leak somewhere? Kafu is Sampa, the district capital of German North, having a bad road network. And there's a huge revenue generated there through cashew. I agree. I worked in Sampa before. When you get to Sampa, you can see Côte d'Ivoire. And it's cashew town. Yeah, it's a big cashew town. Good morning, Kaf, and your panel. I just want to know from Mr. Anochi if people from Northern Ghana are known for pouring of libation. That's some research you can go into.
Yes. They do, but with this...
with millet.
Millet.
Exactly, yeah. GTV, Freezing My Bones story is my story. I'm really touched. I'm glad we touched you. On the issue of by-elections, we should change our laws to allow the contestant who placed second in the last parliamentary election to replace the deceased MP. Hey, Charlie, this combination
I think it's not about
Charlie,
that.
the guy who is third will say, Charlie, I also want a chance. You know, this will help save money for the country. Yeah. Okay, so those are your messages. Hello, Kaf and crew. Please ask Lawyer Nochi who masterminded the Kulungugu incident. Our politicians say they were antecedents to the New Patriotic Party. The youth should stop depending on politicians and try doing something. Those are your messages, people. Thank you very much. Don't know what you know about Kulungugu, but maybe that's for another day, right? Yes. Now, we are going to be having a conversation on marriage, divorce, and settlement. You know, so I'm just curious about your thoughts on this. So, why is it that when there's a divorce, somebody asks for a divorce, they go to court, and then also ask for, say, if the woman is the one who asked for the divorce, they go to court, and then they want 50% of the earnings of, I don't know how earnings seem. When you tell me.
You see, I'm laughing because recently I've done a number of these cases, and I'm happy you're going to talk to somebody who has written on it. There are a lot of people who have been brainwashed into believing that Article 22, Clause 1 of the Constitution is sacrosanct, to the effect that spouses shall have equal access to property jointly acquired during marriage.
Okay.
So they think that once you are a wife and a mother in a marriage, automatically, whether you contributed or not, you are entitled to 50%.
It's not so?
It's not so. In fact, the Supreme Court's ruling in AJ versus AJ has clearly indicated that, look, you have to justify your contribution, whether monetary or non-monetary. And then also in the Finn versus Finn ruling, it is clear that your position as a wife does not really qualify you to be a part owner of a property, you know. So there have been a number of rulings
After
on that.
Mensa
After Mensa and Mensa's ruling. So
is it fair?
no, but what the bottom line is that Parliament should pass the spousal rights bill. That's all. Because the Constitution is clear under Article 22, Clause 2, that Parliament would have to pass it to regulate it. Insofar as they have not been able to flesh out the constitutional provision of 22.1, you give the Supreme Court the opportunity come up with rulings. And currently, they have interpreted it severally. So people must know that the fact that you are a wife to somebody, the fact that you are a husband, the fact that you are a mother, the fact that you are in a relationship doesn't automatically guarantee you 50% of a person's property. And for some reason, the people say, I'll get 50%. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that, So basically, that's what I want to say. And then finally, those who call themselves Mrs. Please, people must know that if you are a Mrs., you have to make sure that your name is gazetted. It's not that as soon as you are married, you become a Mrs.
It has to be gazetted.
It has to be gazetted.
All right. Thank you so much for the dedication. Mr. Frequent, do you do a lot of divorce cases?
Not a lot.
Okay.
Not a lot. I rather try my best to bring them together. At the moment you report the matter to me, I ask you for your wife or your husband's number, if it will be possible for us to talk. Because at the end of the day, when you leave him, you are going for another human being, not an angel, and somebody who may be worse. And the same applies to her. You understand? So we try our best to put people together.
Okay.
And I learned that because many years ago, I was walking along Tema station, and then a lady pointed at me. He said, "Mama, when you go, lawyer, when you go, my warrior, no." You see, when you came to a lawyer's office and say you are not comfortable in the marriage, and he was only doing his professional work, now you are accusing that he actually brought an end to your marriage.
Good in the marriage.
So what I learned from it was that I should rather be doing things that will bring people together.
Not tear them asunder.
Yes.
All right. Nice one.
And for tearing asunder, it's not lawyers who do, and
No,
it's not the
it's
court.
the court.
They decide to tear themselves
asunder.
But Cap, there are interesting cases. I did a case where the court was about ruling on the divorce case, and the next day, when we left court, I saw the gentleman driving out. He lifted the lady and they went home. The next day, the lady came to our chamber and said, "Lawyer, I'm no more interested in the divorce." So they arrested the judgment. So they passed up.
Yeah, they always go many times.
As to what the man told the lady,
only God knows.
Only God knows.
All right.
So
Okay.
There are good lessons.
That's interesting stories and this conversation. That's just a teaser. I can see my guests already, Mr. Maurice Ampao and Akosia Hansen, who are going to be on the show in a short while. I just saw this video. I'm going to Jay right now for Keep an Eye. There was a video I saw of they say when you marry an old man for his money and you die before he dies, and the woman is just there screaming in hell. If you find that video, we'll play it for you. Let's go to Jay.
That's what Syrian Park can explain it to you.
A man in the hospital, his wife was sitting there. Say, ask my wife if I die and he will marry again, she will marry. Then property A, B, C, D, I won't give her. If she won't marry, then lawyer, give everything to her. So I asked the woman said, man, worry that.
Hey, what will she say?
Will you be around?
What will she say? How will we let's verify? Let's do a Keep an Eye right now. Jay is on the line right now for us, and he has an interesting report. An open grate that is causing a threat to road commuters in Latebio Koshi. So Jay Gabra is here. I'm going to see if I can find that woman in hell story video for you to watch. Just screaming, man. Jay, I hope you're not in a hellish area, but you are safe and sound. What's up in Latebio Koshi, Jay? I hear Jay coming. Yes. Jay, do you hear me?
Thank you so much, Kafui. You're still watching #GTV Breakfast. So this morning we are talking about some of the some of the horns we see on our roads. It's like a feature on most city streets. We are talking about the open grates. So it's a bright and sunny day like this one. You're driving around town. All of a sudden you hear a jarring sound from underneath your car, and then your heart gets a beat. There's a Snapchat filter or sound that best describe it. It's like, it's good, I'm not even sure if I'm doing it properly. And it's like, I hope it's an air tremor and it's not my car, because you have to think about the cost, the damage to your vehicle and all that, and nobody wants to think about that. It's akin to having a very new and expensive phone in your back pocket, and then you fall down on it, and then you are in your mind, you hear a crack, and you are hoping it's your leg and not your phone. So this morning we are there at Latebio Koshi speaking about this open drain, which is posing a threat to most road commuters who live in this area. You see the metal spanning its width and breadth, and unfortunately, if you are not careful and you are driving in these parts, and especially if you are not familiar with the road, you will enter this grate, and then your vehicle will get destroyed. My concern is for both blind people who are passing this area. What happens to them? Are they able to? Would they be able to forestall? Are they able to see this danger and forestall, and then they can go safely across it? And then speaking to some of the residents, they tell me that the bane of most of these grates is the scrap dealers, and unfortunately they are the ones who have come to take off the covering of the grate. You notice that the one in front is still there, I think because the asphalt is still surrounding it, but because this one was just lying on top of it, they just took it off. So it's like it's creating a danger for the road commuters who are here, and especially for vehicles who are turning into this place. They have to maneuver their way carefully, otherwise their vehicle will get destroyed. So I have a few of them here I'd like to talk to, so I hear what exactly is on their mind. Boss, morning, oh. How you doing?
Oh.
All of a sudden, yeah, morning, boss. What's up?
Good morning.
Yeah, what happened?
How are you, Charlie?
Oh, I beg, face this side for me.
I look at you.
I beg you to stay in this area.
I beg you stay. Yeah, I'm around this area.
Oh, I beg, what be your name?
My name is Abdulbaki Mohammed. Abdulbaki Mohammed.
Abdulbaki Mohammed. So how your great idea here, for instance, I know say they cause some trouble. What you want to talk about? That?
Cause some problem because when they do that thing, most of the people, if they can, they fall inside. If the cars who come, they fall inside. You see.
When you tell your assemblyman or your local
assemblyman, but I did not even care. We don't even know what he was doing, because when they do it, most of the time, those boys who are, pushing that. Those boys who are pushing that the truck, that scratch guy, they used to steal it. Yeah. But we talk when they did it, they steal it. When they do it, they steal it. So we don't know what to do again.
So how long has it been like this?
Oh, it's been a very long time.
I bet how long?
More than 10 years.
I bet what be your name?
Tijani Mohammed.
Tijani, eh?
Tijani Mohammed.
Tijani, morning. No, what happened?
Fine, cool.
So I get you to what you want to talk about.
I will talk. I'll speak language you people can hear.
Oh yeah, PJ.
Yo, say we no gata no debia insoto a na se na no ye pese yen fa cover no but yen ni inches ya catch on several times but one way no kese no ankasa inso no to a etumi pie ade no ebie a yen na edi ade no tusu nti ese yen ni inches, both of them. Say any inches, say a chokua, you better my be na yi that rubbish no ntina na ya saka but omu ye no celia yan to me be sab ntina problem na ya wa no ache
it's ya cars ne to mo mutumi bebon mo
se sia se car to mo se area ya to me one na ya yi Kano, no ako.
Tijani Medasio, boss na won say oh baby kana. Pacho your first saying.
Ali Tahir.
Pacho share this time my Pacho then what?
Oh, maybe they mean teach my English. I mean my problem is about this hole here. I think they have to do it because it's been long when people are complaining about it. When it's rain, it's very difficult to pass it because sometimes you may not know whether there is a hole there because the water will cover it, and if you're not careful, you may fall inside and it will turn to a big problem to you. So we are pleading to the government to help us to build this and to cover it. Okay. And this is Ablekuma Central. Yeah. No, we didn't approach to him yet. But I think my brother, they approached the assemblyman. And then I don't know what he said. But my brother was saying that they complained to him so many times that they have to cover it. They did not show up.
Okay. So in about 30 seconds, make one final appeal to your local assemblyman. Maybe they can come to your aid to fix this as soon as possible.
By all means, by the grace of God, we shall do that. Okay.
Thank you so much. So some of the residents here complain about how long it's been since this drain has been open, and they mentioned the danger of whenever it rains, it gets filled to the brim. So if you're unfamiliar with the road especially and you don't know that there's an open grate over here, that's when your vehicle will fall directly inside and then it will destroy your vehicle. So in order to forestall calls to you and to road commuters, and my deal has to do with people who are working on this side and they don't know about it and also fall into it, what happens to them? It's going, and inside is, you can imagine, it's a gutter, so inside is quite lovely, if I do say so myself. So, Boskaf, this is a report we have for you this morning concerning the open grade here at Latavio Kwashi. Back to you and your guest in the studio.
I'm wondering why the people in the community can't just put some barrier, some safety barrier around that hole. I mean, imagine you walking or jogging in the middle of the night, or you're walking with your girlfriend and all of a sudden, oh, honey has disappeared. You would think dwarfs took her away. It was just a hole in the middle of the street. A hole, by the way, in Chi is Tokru. In Ever is a do. How do you say hole in Ghana? Boo. Boo. Oh, if Maltiti was here, should have given me the Dagbanli version of hole. But that hole needs to be covered, and it has to be covered pronto, ASAP. So Latavio people get to work. Gentlemen, it's been a real pleasure. May your Tuesday be a fruitful one. Thank you for the throwback to Professor Wood and Chief Justice Sir Akukosa. Thank you. And this is GTV Breakfast, a conversation on marriage, divorce, and settlement, MDS, with Maurice and Akosia in the house, and Thelma with our favorite forehead. Come to give the conversation. Yeah, she's looking great. Yeah, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. This is GTV Breakfast. Mwah. Filimu.